And joining us on the line right now, former Lion running back, Michigan State Spartan, and don't forget the Miami Dolphins. This is Sedrick Irvin on the line. Cedric, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, I'll tell you what. We want to kind of start off talking about your career, your entry into the NFL. Of course, you were a Michigan State Spartan. And talk about your time there, and then what it was like being a fourth-round pick in the NFL. I mean, that was huge. Your dream coming true.
First of all, Michigan State was a great time. I had numerous scholarships. I could have went anywhere in the country. I think when I came out, I was fifth-rated prospect in the country. So I know I made a great choice. I still remember my first game, 4 touchdowns versus Purdue on ESPN, and so from there it was all uphill. I had a great time. Was coached by great coaches. I look back now at my coaches. You had Nick Saban, you had Coach Bobby Williams, even our DA, who's now he was the coordinator at Jacksonville Jaguars, head coach now at Michigan State. He was on that staff. We just had Coach D'Antonio, and he was the coordinator at Georgia. So we was coached by some great coaches. I had a great time there. Played with some great players. Robert Smith, Plaxico Burress, Derrick Mason, Julius Peterson, Flozier Adams, just to name a few. So I had a great time at Michigan State.
Can you go into your draft day experience, getting the call from the Detroit Lions and being a fourth-round pick?
Yeah, I understand. For me, I always tell this story. I can remember in school, they ask you, hey, what you want to be in life? All I want to do is be a football player. You get to high school and say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, I want to be in the NFL. And to have that opportunity and to get that call, it was nothing but a blessing. I'm a coach now at a high school now, head coach, and I tell these guys, I live my dream. I'm just mad that I didn't dream of anything else.
Sure.
But now, it was great. I had a great time at Detroit. Just until last year, we were the last team to go to a playoff in Detroit. So, I had a great time.
All right, you joined the Lions in 1999. You're playing with guys like Herman Moore, Charlie Batch, James Stewart at running back. Great defensive players. What was that like?
Everything you get your dream of. Everything you think of. It was, not Dallas, Robert Forshane, Ryan Stewart. I played with some great guys. Chris Claiborne, he was in my draft. It was a great team, too. It was a great atmosphere in the locker room. We had none of this stuff that the Jets go through that I see now. But it was great, man. Like I say, we won there. We didn't have losing records. We were at least 500. Like I say, my first year, we had a shot at the playoff. We played the Redskins. So, I had a good time in Detroit.
Going on to 2000, Bobby Ross is your head coach. He leaves in the middle of the season. Gary Moeller comes as head coach, and you guys are one 54-yard field goal away by Paul Edinger from the playoffs. Can you go through that?
Before Paul kicked the kick, I was looking at Paul, yelling at him. I said, Paul, come on, man. Miss the kick. I can you have this playoff money. But at the same time, half of me was like, hey, that's my guy. Went to school with him, came in with him, and also, he's from Florida. So, half of me was cheering for him, and the other half was like, miss it. But, but like I say, in Detroit, man, we won the Detroit of 4 or 5 years ago. We had some guys that made plays. I remember we beat St. Louis the year that they won the Super Bowl. So, we had a good team, man. We had a good scrappy team. Guys made plays. The sad part about it was, not Barry being there, and it was the end of Herman Moore's career. So, those are the guys that I watched, in high school, and, you had to put top guys in each position. You're going to put Herman Moore's name, of course, under Michael Irvin back then, and you're always going to put Barry's name. So, to have opportunity to meet those guys and to play with Herman was great.
can you go into 2001? I mean, the hiring of Marty Mornhinweg and Matt Millen as general manager, just the mess that was. I mean, you guys started off with some injuries. He takes Charlie Batch out of the lineup, which I don't understand. Ty Detmer goes on to throw 7 interceptions. Mike McMahon's fumbling the ball all over. And then after 2001, he just blows up the team, which I thought he just should have reloaded, which Chris Claiborne agreed with. But can you just go through that year and what that was like?
That guy, McMahon, I didn't understand that. I mean, I didn't understand that at all. But, we had a great, I think he should be a head coach pretty soon. And he's a running back coach in Kansas City. When that guy came in, he's the guy that played with the Giants, Coach Mo. When that staff came in, you had great coaches, but that staff wasn't together. You know what I mean? Like, I had a chance to be in Alabama for 2 years, and, that's a staff. Like, everybody feed off each other, and you knew who was the head. Like, Saban is the head. But in that staff, man, we didn't know if Mornhinweg was the head coach or was it McMillan. No one knew his vision. No one knew, like, what is he talking about? What is he thinking? And I think that was the beginning of a storm when they gave that job, that guy the opportunity to be, that manager of that team.
Yeah, I thought it was the beginning of the end, too. Just I heard Marty Mornhinweg. I didn't know much about him. I thought I'd give him a chance, and then once he took Charlie out, he took me out, too. So, But do you think he ruined some careers? I mean, when he blew the team up, you didn't hear much from the Bryant Westbrooks, Terry Fairs, Ron Rice, yourself. I thought you'd take over. You were the number 2 running back behind James Stewart. I thought you'd just take over once James got older and left. Do you think he ruined the careers of some guys?
Easily. And I don't say that being bitter. I say that as a man now. I say that as a man now, watching football, knowing the business of it, and that you got to think about. Like I said, 1 year we 1 kick away. The first year we go. You had a nucleus of a guy that wanted to be in Detroit. I don't think it was no one there that wanted to leave Detroit. But like I told you, when you get a McMillan, no one knew his vision. I mean, one day he'll do a linebacker drill. The next day, he's riding around in motorcycles. I mean, it was like, we didn't know. And then when he tried to bring in his guys to do this pick or whatever it was, I mean, it just didn't work. Like I said, that whole staff it wasn't a staff. Like, you didn't know who was the head.
Oh, definitely.
And we had coaches, like, coaches, you could see the coaches, like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what tomorrow may bring. It was like that.
Wow.
So I don't know how you can relate to your players if the coaches don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I hear you. A guy that we had Chris Claiborne on a few days ago, a guy we talked about was Jermaine Crowell, a really talented receiver. I brought up that he could have been even a Calvin Johnson type, not to go too far with it, but he had the size, the speed, but also the knee injuries. Can you talk about him?
Jermaine was the next one. I mean, you got to think about it. He had an opportunity to learn on Herman Moore and Johnny Morton. He was the next one. I mean, is he a Megatron of last year and this year? I don't know, but he's a Dwayne Bowe. He's a guy that can, he can be your number 1 receiver. He was going to be our number 1 receiver. Matter of fact, he became our number 1 receiver. So, he was a guy that was going to be special. He was a deep threat. He was a big body. He was a tough guy. And he was a great person. He had it all. But like I say, no one was patient with the guy. He get a little injury. I mean, like I say, he was a great guy and worker. Guys come back from those injuries and be better. But he was never given that opportunity. And I think he ended up going to New Orleans or something like that. It just wasn't, he wasn't the same there. Like I say, it was guys that didn't want to leave Detroit.
Sure.
And I think he was one of them.
Well, I want to, get into what you're up to today, which is coaching, and you have quite a, impressive resume. I mean, you've been in Memphis and worked, like you said, under Nick Saban. I want to talk a little bit about Alabama and Nick Saban. I mean, What was your experience like working there, and what, I mean, everybody wants to know with regards to Saban how he's able to be as successful as he is, because he is the most respected coach in probably America.
First of all, for me, it's a blessing to do what I'm doing now. You know, I always wanted to be a head coach in high school. You know, I love to go back to college, and it's a great opportunity, but I want to get kids to that level. You know, I want to get kids to that level. You know, I want to train them the right way. You know, being under Nick Saban was a God gift. You say why? Because he's the best in the business. You say why? Because he's a perfection. You know, everybody's accountable. You know, little details, he's on them. Discipline, first class program. You know, if you ever get a chance to see his operation, it's the best in the business.
Oh, yeah.
He's on top of everything, from the janitors, from the referees that come in and do practice. I mean, to everything, he's on top of the meetings, recruiting, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, you can just be the LSU, you get on the plane, and you got FIU the next week. He's watching FIU on the way back from LSU.
Wow, yeah, that.
You know, so he's just a perfection, man. 7 o'clock is 6:45.
Yeah.
You know, while I went to Memphis, 7 o'clock was 7:30. You know, so what God did for me was say, hey, I'm going to put you in the first, the best of the best. You know, you go undefeated during the regular season, you go to 2 SECs, you know, you go to Sugar Bowl, all right, you win 1 SEC championship, and you win a national championship. Now I'm going to see you to Memphis, where you better go win 1 game.
Right.
And you're not going to be part of a first-class program. So now, when you go back to Miami, I'm going to put you at a Christian school, you will know how to run your program. And the compliments I get now is crazy.
Well,
but I give that credit all to what I learned at University of Alabama.
And you know what? I remember now that during Mark Ingram's Heisman acceptance speech, he thanked you in that speech. I mean, talk about him and coaching him and what that was like, because that's a once-in-a-lifetime player.
Once again, it was a blessing to be part of that staff. You know, not just with Nick Saban. I mean, I was there with Bobby Williams, who was my running back coach, who's a great coach. I was also there with the running back coach there now, who I learned so much from. I mean, that guy, he can easily be a head coach. And then with Mark, you got to think, it was a blessing to be with Mark, because his freshman year is when his dad goes to jail.
Yep.
And so you got a guy that's 18 and the whole world knows, you know, your dad is going to jail. And this is an emotional kid at that time. And I'll never forget in the meeting, you know, Saban gave me the assignment of, you know, you deal with Mark. You know, I'm like, wow, this is my first year too. He was like, if he got any problems on the sideline, you deal with Mark. You be in his ear. And it was a challenge for me, because that was my first time really having an opportunity to be in a situation like that, where I had to be a motivator and also be a coach, where I was an intern coach, you know, at that position. So it was great, though, because he responded. And I guess when you have success, you know, it was great to see him run a power play, and he missed the read. And I tell him, hey, be patient, you know, stay inside out, you know, read the gaps. And he does it, and he has success. And he come back, and you're the first person he hugs. I mean, wow. That was a blessing for me. You know, it's just to this day, we can text him today. You know, he's a little frustrated now, because he's the type of kid where he gets better with carries, and he's not getting those carries. So now I'm in that same position. Hey, man, be patient.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get 6 carries, make sure they're the best 6 carries. You know, take care of your body. You know, so I still found myself back in Alabama, but now I'm doing it over the phone.
Oh, wow. In 2010, you become the Memphis Tigers running backs coach. The Chiefs just drafted Dontari Poe. with the 11th pick in this year's draft. What did you see out of him with your time there at Memphis?
I mean, I knew he'd be a guy that tests good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a guy, his weight, 360, can dunk a basketball, can dribble pretty good, you know. But I never thought he was Warren Sapp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we come from the USA, you know, I didn't see him as that dominant guy, killer guy. But athletic-wise, good feet, you know, strong. You know, he's a great combine guy. You know, but to his defense, I think he only played 2 years of high school or a year of high school. You know, I think he started off in the band, and then at Memphis, again to his defense, you know, it's Memphis, it's football. So, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't think he was a Warren Sapp, but I knew he would go to the combine and do the things that he did.
Well, you just crushed some Chiefs fans' hopes there if he's not going to be a Warren Sapp, but we like you telling it straight.
I wouldn't say he'd be a Warren Sapp. I wouldn't say. And I say Warren Sapp growing up here in Miami and also playing in Detroit where we had to play Tampa twice, you know, so I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't even say he's a Luther Ellis, you know.
I take
what
that.
I say that was, you know, Luther Ellis dominated. You know, I just think he'll be a guy that can hold his own and probably won't hurt the team. But if you're looking for him to go out there and be the next step, no, I don't think so. But a great kid now, great person. But to his defense, he hasn't had the experience. But like I say, he's a great talent. You know, he can give you the vertical jump. He can give you the 4.6, 4.8, whatever he ran. He can bench, you know, 400 and some pounds. He can do those things. But like I say, to his defense, he hasn't had the coaching and the playing time, I think, to be that, you know, the 10th, 11th pick. But hopefully he panned out, though.
Well, Sedrick, I absolutely agree with you, and I tell you what, we're about out of time here today. Cannot thank you enough. Your insight has been unbelievable, and you know, you just best of luck coaching this year. Hopefully, we'll have you on a little later in the year, and we're talking about a state title there for you, Sed.
Oh man, I'm a fan of Kansas City, and I say that because we got my guy Ivy Arenas there. You know, you got a guy out of Miami Northern High School, Dwayne Bowe. So, you know, I'm on top of you guys, man. I'm cheering.
Hey, absolutely, man. I appreciate it again. Thanks so much for being on. We'll definitely have you on again, and have a good one, my man.
Oh, man, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thanks a lot, Sedrick.
All right.